Let us discuss the solution for reverse gear question. As the approach goes, first step is to understand the question properly. You might have gone through the question already, but still we'll do it again to understand it even more better. So, a futuristic company is building an autonomous car. The scientists at the company are training the car to perform reverse parking. To park, the car needs to be able to move in backward as well as forward direction. Now, the car is programmed to move backwards for B meters and forward again, say F meters, in a straight line. So from this line, we can understand that the car will be made to move backwards first and then forward next in B and F meters respectively. The car does this repeatedly until it is parked or collides with other objects. So, the car covers 1 meter in t units of time. There is a wall after distance d from car's initial position in the backward direction, which essentially means that we will have to stop before the car hits the wall. And for every meter the car travels, it's taking t units of time to pass 1 meter. So, the car is currently not without any defects and hence often hits the wall. The scientists are devising a strategy to prevent this from happening. Your task is to help the scientists by providing them with exact information on amount of time available before the car hits the wall. So, the main purpose of this question is to find out the time t or whatever that is taken by the car to hit the wall. Now let's try to understand even better by looking at the question format. So input contains 2 lines where first line tells the number of test cases for which we'll have to check, and next n line. So for example, if the first line say 4, so there would be 4 lines following the first line. So that is 2 different sets. So first one is the total number of test cases and second one is the test cases itself. So for every test case there will be 4 integer values. First one being F, second one being B, third one being T and the fourth one being D. All these things are separated by space. So output can be an integer which tells the number of time units taken by the car to hit the wall, or if the test case is not valid, then it has to print invalid test case, and if the test case is not able to park, for example if the car is not able to park, then we'll have to print cannot park. So we also have some sample input and output to understand it better. So now before we go to the next one, let's try to understand something about D. So F is the forward displacement, B is the backward displacement which will happen first, and T is the time taken for every meter, and D is the total distance between the car's starting position and the wall in the back or backward direction. So let's move to the sample test cases. So test case 1. So if you look at test case 1, there are 2 test cases in the test case 1 itself. So first test case says that 6, 9, 3, 18. So I'll make it clear. 6 represents the number of meters in which it moves forward, and 9 represents the number of meters it moves backwards, and 3 represents the total time taken for every meter, and 18 represents the distance in meters between the car and the wall. So if you look at the constraints, it says just first move will always be in the backward direction. Though the input has F as first, B would be the one, means first the car would be always moving in the backward direction and then in the forward direction. Now if you look at the sample test case 2, there is only one test case here and it is 2 to 310. So 2 meters in backward direction and 2 meters in forward direction. So it keeps repeatedly happening, which means the car will not move from its initial position at all. That is the reason why we have got the output as cannot park. Now to understand the first test case, first sample test case better. Let's go with a simple illustration. Assume you have a table here. The table contains current, backwards, forward, time taken and distance. So assume my current position of the car is at 0 and the total distance that I can move is 18 meters in the backward direction. Since it's in backward direction, I'm going to represent it with minus symbol. So backwards it moves minus 9. I'm actually doing this with the help of first test case. So if you look at the first test case, the forward motion would be 6 meters, backward motion would be 9 meters. 3 is the total time taken for every meter of motion and 18 is the total distance between the car and the wall, is it? So with that note, I'm taking that current is 0 and the distance between the car and the wall is 18. So if I move 9 meters backwards, so my current position would be minus 9 and I'll still have 9 more meters to reach the wall. But it is not possible for the car to move backwards twice without moving forward. So for example, if from the current position, if it's taking 9 meters backwards, if it goes 9 more meters backwards, it gets parked without any problem. But the car is not programmed in that way. Every time when it takes backward direction, it will always come forward for some meters before again it takes the backward direction. So again it moves 6 meters forward. So total backward would be minus 3 meters and my current position would be minus 3. Now let's try to calculate the total time taken for this first iteration or first time when the car is completing its backward and forward. So for every meter, if it's taking 3 units of time, then for backward it went 9 meters. So 9 into 3 it would be 27. And again for forward it moves 6 meters. So 6 into 3 it would be 18. So 27 plus 18. So for every time when it moves backward and forward, it would be 45 units of time. Now, according to the current position of the car, the distance between the wall and the car is updated as minus 15. Now, let's again from the current position, let's try to do the same thing again. So again, if it moves for minus 9 meters, forward for plus 6. So minus 3, from that if it moves minus 9 meters, it would be in minus 12. And then again, if it moves plus 6, it would be in minus 6 finally. And the time taken would be 90 seconds. The reason why I have written it as 90 is the total time taken for the first iteration and the second iteration. So now my distance between the current position of the car and the wall would have been updated as minus 12. Right. So from these two iterations, you could have come to a conclusion like for every iteration, the distance between the wall and the car is reducing by 3 units, isn't it? So how many units are required to reach the wall? Right. So for example, your current position is minus 6 and if I move backwards by minus 9, my current position would be minus 15. And then again, if I move forward by 6 units, again my current position would be minus 9 and total time taken would be 135 and distance is minus 9. So if I keep doing that, at one point I'll be reaching 0, right? So the total time taken is 270 according to whatever we have decided. But if you look at the test case, you might remember that the answer is 162. So you can simply pause and check previous. But whatever we have got is 270. So we are missing the logic somewhere, right? So to understand it better, I have made a simple animation. Assume this is the wall and the distance between the car and the wall is 18 meters and our Mr. Bean is trying to park his car. So we should remember this point that always the first move would be in the backward direction, and assuming that 6 is the unit for forward direction and 9 is the unit for backward direction and 3 is the time taken per meter. Let's try to check how this reverse parking is happening. So first time when Mr. Bean moves 9 meters backwards, he will still have 9 meters more to park his car properly. But he can't move 9 meters backwards because he will have to again take a forward of 6 meters. So from his current position, he has moved only 3 meters backwards. Similarly, when he tries to move 9 more meters, again he can see that some more distance is left between the wall and his current position. So again he has to perform the forward motion, and again same thing will happen. So third time when he does that, again he can see that there is a small distance left between his current position. But for the fourth time, when his current position is at 9, if he moves backward for 9 more meters, he is already parked. So he need not come forward again. So with this, my program should also stop. So first 3 iterations happened between forward and backward, and for the fourth iteration, he directly got parked and he need not come forward again. So the total time taken would be like 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9. So it would be 162 seconds. So this is all about understanding the question. Now let's get back to the table. So when his current position is minus 9 and when he moves 9 meters backwards, now my distance would be equal to 0 here itself, and my time taken would be 162. By this you will have to break the loop. Now let's try to kind of put a summary for whatever we have understood. So the car always moves backwards and then front, though the first input is for forward direction. So most of the time we'll make mistake in this for this particular question, where first input is F and second input is B, but still the car will always take backward direction first and then the forward motion. So whenever the forward value is greater than the backward value, the car cannot get parked at all. The reason being, it will not move backwards at all, so the reverse parking is not possible. Similarly, the distance might be covered during the backward motion itself. It's not like it has to complete the forward and backward motion. During the backward motion itself, sometimes you might get a perfect parking like whatever we have seen in the previous test case. Now let's try to figure out the logic for the same. So until the car reaches the wall, keep moving back and front or backward and forward. While moving, every time you will have to check if the current position of the car is already the destination. So if the car reaches the destination already, you'll have to stop there itself and calculate the total time. Now, how will you calculate the current position? So current position is 0, so just make it as 0 here. Current position plus backward direction, so you'll move in backward direction, and then again you will have to move in forward direction. So the total time taken would be number of times we are moving forward and backward into time taken per unit distance. Now let's try to write the pseudocode for the same. So first let's try to get the values of forward motion, backward motion, time per unit distance, and the distance between the car and the wall. And then I'm going to keep repeating, updating my current position. So how will I check how to update? You will check if the current position plus backward direction is less than D. D is nothing but the distance between the car and the wall. So 0 plus 9 is less than 18. Condition is true. So you will move the car backwards. So the current position will be equal to current position plus B. Similarly, we'll be doing for forward position also. So current position is equal to current position minus F. But when we are, for example, when you are at position 9 and there is only 9 meters between the current position and the wall. Now we'll have to calculate what is the remaining distance. So current position plus 9. So for example, your current position is 9 and the distance is also only 9. So 9 plus 9, 18. 18 is less than 18. Condition is false. So at this case, what we'll do? You'll have to make like remaining distance is equal to what is the distance between the wall and the current position of the car. So that I'm calculating using a simple thing like D minus current position. and then try to calculate the time taken to reach the remaining position and then exit from the loop here. So I'm going to increment the total number of times this car has moved forward and backward, and finally I'm going to calculate the total time. So the total time is nothing but the total number of meters it has moved in forward and backward for so many times, that is given in count, and time taken for every meter moved plus time taken in the remaining distance as well. So this is my overall formula. So guys, it's time for us to write the coding for the same question for whatever we have discussed the logic. So if you look at it, the question is given here, reverse gear, and input output is also given, and along with the constraints. So these constraints would be handled in the coding itself. So we'll look into that point. And sample test cases are also given. Now let's quickly start the coding. So here we already have the header file and namespace std. Now I'm going to declare a variable, say int n, which would take the number of test cases. So yes, now you will have to check. So for example, my first constraint is n should be greater than 1 and should be less than or equal to 100, right? So let's check it. So if n is greater than 0, or you can put like greater than or equal to 1, and n is less than or equal to 100. So if this case is true, okay, let's better put like this only, greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 100. If this is true, then so for every test case, so if for every test case, next step, so if you check the input, it gives the number of test case first, and then for every test case we will have to take the F, B, T and D, is it? So let's do that. B, T and D. Now I'm missing something, right? What is that I have missed? We will have to declare this thing, isn't it? So int F, B, T, D. Yeah. So once this is done, I'm going to initialize few more variables. So count, I'll be initializing it to 0. The main purpose of this count is to check the number of times the car has moved backward and forward. So I'm initializing my current position to be 0, and then let total time is also equal to 0. Now as discussed, let's try to handle the constraints. So first constraint, if forward displacement should be greater than 0, right? So if forward displacement is greater than or equal to backward displacement. So we already checked this case. Let's say, I'll just show you, second test case. So forward displacement is equal to backward displacement. So the output is cannot pop. The reason being, the number of meters you go back, if it's equal to number of meters if you come front, then the car will be in the same position itself, it will not even move. So if it's greater than or equal to B, or if the distance is equal to 0, or if the total time taken is equal to 0. So if any of this case happens, simply we will have to print cannot park. If not, then we will have to keep moving the car forward and backward until the car is reaching its reaching the wall. So how will you check it? You will check if current position. So if I add the current position with the backward steps, and if it is less than the distance between the actual position of the car and the wall, if this is true, then simply update the current position as current position plus backward position, right? If not, then we will have to calculate the remaining distance between the car and the wall. So I'll just simply write, I'll initialize a variable, say int remaining distance. So remaining distance is nothing but the total distance minus current distance, right? So total distance minus current position, Let's try to calculate the total time for the remaining distance. So it would be nothing but remaining distance into t. Now, once after this is done, you need not go forward. Simply break the loop. If this is not true, then you have to move forward. So, moving forward is nothing but simply subtract current position with forward or F. This is done. So, I am going to keep a count of this every time when this iteration is happening. I'll just close this. Now we'll have to calculate the total time. So total time is equal to total time happened before for the remaining distance that we'll have to calculate into plus number of steps forward plus backward for every iteration. So I'll just multiply it with count with total, time taken per unit distance, right? So that would be t. That's it. Now once this is done, we'll have to simply print the total time. That is what required. I'll just put an end line over here. Let's close all the loops properly. Now if n is less than 0, then what we'll have to do? We'll have to simply print that it is an invalid test case. That's it. Now it's time for us to compile and check. Okay, we'll check it again. So we have got some errors. We'll debug it together. Okay, so here if you note, current position plus equal to B. So do you think is there any error here? The expression is correct, but if you look at it, the error is there is a gap between plus and equal to, which is not proper according to the syntax. So let's resolve it. Similarly, here we have another error, say else without if. The reason is because here in the programming question, so here you have if statement, there is an else statement already, and again I have used else, which is not needed. So let's quickly take it out. Now let's try to save and compile. Okay, 7 out of 10 hidden test cases are passed. Okay, we'll check what is the error then. Okay, maybe this is the issue. Okay. Yeah, so if you check, there might be issues where you are not giving a new line as well. So you'll have to carefully handle it. So if there is any we'll have to check for the new lines. So once I have given this \n, so now all the test cases are passed. So hope it is clear now.
Hey YouTube, how are you doing? Stay tuned to Facebook for more awesome videos. Don't forget to subscribe.